Welcome back to Woodcrafting Place. Ray Ruthin here. So we've got a great project for you today. So let's grab our coffee and get to it. Okay, today we're going to talk about a shop tip to help out folks who are setting up a new shop or upgrading the lighting in their shop. That's right, we're going to talk about lighting. Frequently when you're setting up a shop, you put a lot of focus on dust collection, tool layout. You'll focus on things like storage, keeping the temperature and the humidity controlled in your shop so it's not too hot, not too cold. And one thing you may or may not spend a lot of time on is getting the proper lighting in your shop. Well, I'm going to look at and compare 3 different lights on the market today. One's a Home Depot, a Harbor Freight, and one I got from Amazon. We're going to compare them to see how they shape up against each other for cost, light quality, brightness, and overall installation as well, and the cost of ownership. When we compare the 3 lights, we're going to put some science to it, show you basically how it compares with a color chart, and a little about how to organize your shop so that you have the lighting where you need it without spending a fortune. So with that being said, let's put some light on the subject. Sorry, couldn't resist. Okay, so we're going to talk about some strategies for lighting first, and first thing I'm going to talk about is the 3 different kinds of light that you're going to consider. First, you're going to look at area lighting. Area lighting is just the general lighting for the overall brightness and visibility in your work area. Typically, and myself and a lot of folks will use just your general fluorescent lights because they're less expensive as a rule. Next will be task lighting. Task lighting is the brighter focused light in specific areas where you need to have a better understanding and visibility to what you're doing. You can see the 55 watt fluorescent light here is a good example of task lighting. That's used to make sure that the lathe is very well lit, so as I'm working I can see the surface of the wood or whatever I'm turning clearly. And here's your standard T8 old school fluorescent light. This is good for general lighting. But like most fluorescent lights, this style gives off kind of a greenish tint into the room. And there's a third kind of light, and that is point of use lighting. That is, as you can see here on the saw, is a lamp that's pointing directly at the saw table. That's point of use. So when I need really bright light, specifically on the top of the saw, on the tabletop, so I can see just where the saw blade is through the sawdust, that small lamp does it. So as we go through the shop, you can see lighting is placed. Here's another task lighting. The 300 watt fluorescent bulb is actually, I think it's 100 watt that puts out 300 watts of light. And then the overall fluorescent bulbs. So as we look up, the one on the left is your Amazon LED light. Notice there's a little plug on the side of it. That's actually for linking the lights. It can actually be linked in chains, so you can put more than one of them hooked on one circuit. The middle is the fluorescent Home Depot light, and the light on the right is a Harbor Freight LED. So now let's take a look at our color charts and put some science behind this. So here we are with the color charts. First thing we're looking at is your standard fluorescent light. This is the Home Depot fluorescent light. Nothing special, just like any other 32 watt, 6500 Kelvin color temperature. You notice the white is actually kind of greenish. The blues, not very deep or rich. The deep violet, light color looks kind of light blue. You can see it's just not deep, and the rest of the colors are a little washed out. So next, we're going to look at the Amazon LED. Now in this case, You notice the white maybe has a slightly bluish tint to it. And again, the color's not very rich or deep. Black's a little blacker, but still not true color. Now, in my case, when I'm making videos in the shop, this has an effect on the overall quality. And you never get these colors, especially the blues. They just don't come out rich enough. So now we're going to look at our last candidate of the day. It's going to be the Harbor Freight LED. As you can see, this is much different. The white border is much whiter. The colors are more rich. The blue-violet is definitely a darker blue. The black is much blacker. Grays more full in their grayness. Grayness, is that a real word? Well, I'll use it. This is a bit of a surprise, and you probably noticed it was a little brighter. Well, continuing applying our science, I used my handy dandy phone light meter and took a quick measurement. Not the most accurate, but this shows us that the Harbor Freight light has 121 foot candles. Next is the that'd be the Harbor Freight Fluorescent at 94 foot candles. And last but not least, here's the Amazon LED. And that one is, survey says, 114 foot candles. You notice that the single light from the Harbor Freight LED is actually the brightest of the two, brighter than the other two bulb options. So now let's take the overall, comparing the three of them side by side to see which is our winner. Now on to our final analysis. We looked at a number of categories, covered performance and cost. For initial cost, the winner was the old standby, the Home Depot T12 fluorescent light, as you can see here. Although cost difference really wasn't that tremendously different. So as far as foot candles for brightness as we measured, the winner in this category was clearly Harbor Freight. It showed a much brighter light as compared to the other two. So in the life expectancy as advertised, Harbor Freight again the winner of that category. For installation, it was Amazon's LED, which is linkable to group a number of them together. That way you don't have more than one plug electrical outlet required. Next was the total cost, and the Harbor Freight definitely turned out to be the total cost winner based on lower replacement cost. In the true color category, Harbor Freight was the winner. Based on the categories, it certainly hit the most categories. If I would select for all of my replacements in reviewing, Harbor Freight was the winner. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, like and subscribe, and we'll see you again real soon.